So welcome to an experiment. Thank you for this is the afternoon idle, idle not, well, puns. My name is Andrew. I'm a certified meditation coach in the Unified Mindfulness System. I'm a wrestling announcer and an ordained Buddhist priest and a lot of other things, but what I'm not is a mental health professional, and I'm not a therapist. So I want to offer up for the month of November, this is sort of bounding my experiment, short practices that are doing something and then doing nothing, or what we might call in sort of a comparison with other methods or techniques, a contrast. So we'll do a technique that's a noting technique for the first little bit of the meditation, and then we'll let go of that technique, and that's the contrast. So what does doing something feel like? And what does doing nothing feel like? So that'll be kind of the frame of what we'll do for the week. And then for the week, I want to focus on a category of just our physical sensations, or things that come up, we could say, in the physical body. And then as the week goes on, we'll play around with combining physical body sensation and emotional body sensations. So that's kind of where we're headed. So thank you for that. Trying to think of what else I should say. I think that's probably it. The sits are going to be 15 minutes. And then, so hopefully the idea here, the afternoon idle, would be a little bit of a break in your day. So it's afternoon in Central Time and Eastern Time, not where I live, not in Pacific Time either. But just to break that up, and so we'll do that short sit, and then we'll have maybe a little bit of time if there's any reports. All right, sounds good. All right, thank you, Jill. And then hello, Sarah, and all those shy people that aren't in chat. Oh, okay, so the video is lagging a little bit. So that's one of the things I sort of should have expected, is that I'll have a little bit of bumps along the way from a technical. But yeah, so I'm going to do this Monday through Friday, so weekdays in November. I'm going to do it at least this week. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern, which is noon Central, and 11 a.m. on Mountain Time, and then 10 a.m. if you're in Pacific. So I'm going to do that this week, and then see about feedback if this is a good time, and then we'll see about shifting kind of if there's a thing. But I'm trying to commit to doing this the entire month of November. So we'll see how that goes. But again, an experiment. And then if you do have, okay, so yeah, so Alaska, and I don't have the Alaska and Hawaii time zones on that, but so maybe it's really the morning idle then in that case. If you're curious, Dr. Samuel Johnson used to have a publication called The Idler, so that's kind of where I pulled that from, this sort of idea of sort of the Dutch idea of doing nothing, the Nixon, and then the Do Nothing Project. So a little bit of a pun. So we'll get to the sit, and then today's category is going to be feel out. And so what does that mean? It means we're looking at physical body sensations, and we're looking, and so the feel is body sensations, and the out is indicating that they're the external body sensations. So the feeling of your clothes on your skin, the air, feeling of air, cold or hot or neutral on your skin, the pressure of your feet, the pressure of sitting. All of these things would be examples of feel out. So we'll do that in the beginning. We'll do a little settling in kind of beginning checklist for the sit, and then we'll shift to sort of letting all that go and shift to nothing. So do something and then do nothing. So I invite you to settle into a posture that helps you be both relaxed and alert. And the relaxedness here is that we want to adopt a posture that doesn't require us to effort in order to maintain for the 15 minutes together. And then the alertness is that we don't want to slouch too much, because that will sort of cue the body to sort of chill out and maybe take a little doze. And if you do that, hey, a little siesta in the afternoon, not a big deal. And then just to begin, cueing in on that posture, just checking out where you're at with that. That's my first thing I like to check in. And the second thing is tension, to see if there's any tension in the shoulders, maybe the neck, the jaw, the eyes, the forehead. And then just seeing if, as we notice that tension, if there's any relaxation around that. And then my sort of third thing in my pre-flight checklist is calming breaths. So the wise individuals that the Beastie Boys were, low and slow is the tempo that we want for our breaths as we start out. So we want to breathe low into the bottom of the lungs, and we want our breath to be slow. So we can accentuate that exhale. And that's one way of beginning to sort of settle into the posture and cue the body that this is a chance to do a little bit of relaxing. So again, we breathe low into the bottom of the lungs. And the breathing slow is a way to cue in to the nervous system. So our something component for our sit today is feel out. So if we notice that our attention is on sounds or sights or mental image or mental talk, that's okay. We just notice that. And then see if we can bring our attention into physical sensations of the body. So the physical sensations, depending on your choice, could be the breath, several places that you could feel the breath. So as it enters the nose, sort of as the belly expands, maybe as the torso, the sides of the ribs expand. But the breath isn't everyone's jam, so the feeling of the weight of the body in your posture is one, or your hands arranged in your lap or on your thighs, the feeling of the feet on the ground. And I mentioned we're using a noting technique, so we notice our attention, where it's directed, soak our attention in, and then we can use a label to help keep our attention in that location. And our label for now is feel. So we can say that to ourselves mentally, or if you're in a place where you can say it out loud, that's an option too. Or you can just notice and skip the labeling altogether. Your choice. So explore that. And just as a reminder, your attention is going to get pulled away by the sounds around you or by thoughts about what needs to be done in the rest of the afternoon. That's totally natural. So, as we bring our attention back to the body, we want to do so in a way that is polite and sort of a no big deal, easygoing way. The fact that your attention got pulled away isn't the sign that you're the worst meditator in the world. So, bound to happen. So, depending on how your morning went, you may be a little more upregulated or a little agitated. So, if that's the case, you may want to focus on areas of the body that tend to be neutral. So, the feet would be one. So, the sense of grounding or the feeling of that can be helpful, supportive. Or perhaps the hands. Knowing our attention will be pulled away, a sort of polite nod, and noticing that, and bringing the attention back to the body. So before we shift into experimenting with letting go of the technique, just check in with kind of where you're at. So, how do you feel? It's fine to feel anything right now. So, maybe speedy or buzzy, maybe a little settled, maybe not feeling anything really. So, just kind of a little sampling to see where you're at. Good. So the idea for this time we have left is to let go. You can kind of think about you've been metaphorically sort of pedaling on your bicycle. There's doing something. And this is a chance to stop pedaling and just coast. You may find that the mind wants to be a good meditator, and so it'll come back to the technique or to counting your breaths or something. That's okay. It's a sign the body gets it. But we're going to let go of that. So just allowing our attention to go wherever it goes. So similar to when we were doing our feel out noting practice, check in with what the general vibe is for you right now. I use vibe as a purposely vague kind of term, but when we let go of the technique, that can be agitating for some people. They actually want that something. There's more comfort in having that something, which is totally okay. As we let go of the technique and just kind of relax and lean back, we can develop a comfort with this sort of practice, this choiceless awareness style. So there's no right or wrong. It's kind of where are you at right now. So if your eyes have been closed, go ahead and open them. Reconnect to your surroundings. And that is our afternoon idle together today. So I mentioned that I'm a certified meditation coach, and that's in the Unified Mindfulness System. I'll put a link in the description, but unifiedmindfulness.com is that system. And this system is a skills-based kind of system. So I think that it's helpful for people to look at meditation as not just sort of this thing that you either get or you don't get, but that we're training skills. And so the skills are concentration, so your ability to place your attention where you want on what you deem important for as long as you want. clarity, which is really looking at sensory clarity, that I can track what's going on in my experience, both external and internal. So as the week goes on, I'll do some things where we're looking at emotional body sensations, or the internal sort of end of that spectrum. And then the last is equanimity. And that's this idea of neither pushing or pulling against kind of what's going on. So Roshi Joan Halifax calls this vitamin E. And so it's this sort of inner smoothness as another idea. That's Jeff Warren's way of looking at it, the smoothness kind of quality. So whenever we're doing a sit, we're training concentration, clarity, and equanimity. And so for these contrast sits, my hope is to give you something to compare with nothing. And that helps you see where you're at with meeting your needs kind of as a practitioner. So you are in the driver's seat. What is, in essence, a way for you to meet your needs where you're at? So that is, that's the hope. So it's always good to have aspirations. So you're very welcome, Jill. Thank you for joining, and also Sarah as well. I really appreciate that. So hopefully I see you tomorrow. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll do this same time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And then if you have reports, if you didn't get to join in live, if you have reports, throw them in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. And I appreciate you spending 22 minutes of your time with me. So thank you.